Welcome to Through the Lens of Astrology. I'm your host, Heather Arielle, and we are just hours away from the sun entering Pisces. Yeah, beautiful, sensitive Pisces. We've had a lot of Aquarius energy going on, and we still have Mercury has just entered Aquarius. So we still have a lot of that, and we got some Capricorn. But we're going to celebrate. Yeah, the beginning of Pisces season today. We're going to do a unique Piscean oracle card spread. So, just to help us as a group really connect to some inspirational messages that will help us connect to that energy and be present with our energy. And if you've missed any of the most recent programs, well, you can check out my Instagram. You can check out my Facebook, Heather Arielle's House of Astrology, or my YouTube channel. And I have videos and articles and all kinds of information. And I usually do some type of oracle spread. So if you want to check in to see, well, what were the most recent messages, you can also, yeah, you can do that. Now, okay, so I'm going to show you a nice big watercolor, okay, of Pisces. All right, this is in the planner, the astro planner that I created along with artist Tom Cummins. And that's his just beautiful artwork. Okay. And that's the representation for Pisces. Okay. And it's just a beautiful, I just get transported when I look at that particular watercolor. And Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It represents our highest levels of consciousness, our highest levels of creativity. Yeah. It's the ethereal plane up here. It's woo. Okay. It is like dreamland. All right. So, when energy is in Pisces, it is time to dream. It's time. It's like, yeah, we have permission to embrace our most visionary parts. Yeah, it's like it allows for a poetic expression of life. And that's why it is connected to spirituality, right? Because that's, deals in symbols, and it's connected to creativity, which, art elevates, right? I love astrology because I feel it elevates, and so does art. And it does so through symbolic language and through elevating things to allow for poetry to come into the picture, so that it can be telling us something very practical, but in a very poetic, ethereal way. So, we spend a lot of time about, okay, we're spiritual beings and we come in to experience, right, a physical experience. Dr. Tony Nader talks about this. And so that's like the earth, right? Now we have a lot of Capricorn right now, which that's the earth, right? So yes, it's manifesting. We want to be connecting. But Pisces is that time when it's okay to, like, okay, we're going to get lost a little bit in the ethereal plane. Okay, look at my background. This is a completely Piscean background where you're just, even though Pisces is water, okay? So it's like you can see a little bit of the water. You can see a little bit of the water in the background, but it's like, okay, Pisces is, it's that kind of like, you're looking at, I mean, this artwork is by Carolyn Oakley, and it's like, just, I think it's just mesmerizing and sort of transportive, and it's very glamorous, the sparkly blue and the whoo, and so it's that kind of thing. It's that kind of visual imagery. Okay, and it's water. All right, so water is feeling. So we definitely want to connect to how we feel during Pisces season. Okay, now I'll show you the water card. Okay, there's the water card. Yeah. And so we know we've had a lot of air, and now we still have so much air. Saturn is in Aquarius, and it's going to be there for a while. And as I said, Mercury just entered. So, and as long as, whatever Saturn is doing, that is a path that we all follow no matter what. So we are all on the Aquarian path. Okay, we got the age of Aquarius, we got Saturn in Aquarius, and Mercury is there to help us communicate our ideas. But when the sun enters, okay, then that allows us to say, okay, we can now connect to our more sensitive Piscean parts. And we also have Jupiter in Pisces. So that means the sun and Jupiter are going to come together. And Jupiter is very healing energy. It's very, we say that it's benevolent because it allows for that healing, that sort of it allows for sort of the olive branch to be extended, and it's dreaming energy, and there's optimism with Jupiter. So it's really important that we have hope. Yeah. Now, okay, so there's a beautiful watercolor, from the with the water. And then, we say, oh, we get too much water, which we can over absorb in during a water season. And then we got to do a little Taylor Swift. We got to shake it off. Okay. That's just a beautiful song to say, okay, I'm always about getting physical to really feel something. If you have a hard time understanding something, I say physicalize it, get it in your body, because then it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I have a lot of air, so I'm in my mind I got a lot of Gemini, which was elevated during the new moon spread. Now we just had a full moon in Leo. Okay. But we have those new moon energies until the next moon. So for 2 more weeks, we have those new moon energies. It just means for the second half of the new moon, it feels kind of more like a retrograde in that we want to return to like those new moon messages. All right. So they're still in effect. And even Virgo was elevated last week through an air oracle spread that we did. So, okay, now, all right, so we've got the water. Now, Pisces is also mutable. All right. So that is, it's time to be flexible. It's been like a willow, right? So we all want to be reminded that we all, have a little bit more mutability than we can, than maybe we imagine. And that if not, it's important to embrace, to say, okay, these are like, okay, we can be a little flexible. And this is why the mutable signs can adapt when you're talking to somebody or when you're trying to negotiate. They're very good at coming up with a synthesis, because the mutable, I even like look at this, it's like the face is like, ooh, becoming, it's like, ooh, just transforming right before your very eyes, in this watercolor. So we want to be embracing that element of water, and embracing the modality of mutability. And even, the Virgo Gemini is mutable. So some of the energy that has been pulled, that has been activated through the oracle spreads over the last couple of times is like, yeah, let's embrace our mutable sides. Now, Neptune and Jupiter are both connected. And since Jupiter is in Pisces, Jupiter just loves to be in Pisces. Okay. And Pisces is connected to Neptune as well. So it's like, whoo, it's a lot of healing, loving, universal love energy, and a lot of optimism can come into play with this kind of energy. And it's, psychic. Neptune and Pisces is connected with intuition. So this is a time to do activities that develop your intuition, that help to make you more sensitive, and to unravel excess if you've overabsorbed. So, of course, meditation. Yeah. Any type of spiritual activity, art, anything creative, right? I mean, Pisces, art really falls under Pisces, whether it's, painting, whether it's music. Okay. All kind of acting. Oh my gosh. It's like art falls under, it's the shape shifting energy. Pisces, when you look at a Pisces, you see what you want to see. That's why they're such great artists. They just like, woo, become something else. It's so funny. I was just thinking of, yeah, I forget, like Daniel Craig. I was just watching the James Bond movie, and then Rachel Weisz, because I looked up both their charts at some point, and they both have stelliums and Pisces, and I love to watch them, and they always look a little different to me whenever I see them in movies. Like, and you're looking at people with stelliums, like they have lots of planets in this, So, and so many great artists resonate to Piscean energy, and so it's just like, it's because it's water and it's amorphous. It's just kind of, it goes around, and just there are no boundaries. Nothing stops it. It just keeps going, and it's like, okay, I'll just go around you, and then you, okay, okay, I'll go over you, I'll go, it's not, so it's very special energy in that way. But you also, if you have Pisces in your chart, well, guess what? Yeah, it's your time to step up to the plate and contribute your talents to, with the group, even more than what you're doing, because that's also what we do when energy is in, whatever sign the energy is in. If you've got that energy in your chart, then those are your gifts, and help to benefit the group by sharing them. So we always talk like that. So yep, it's your time. The sun and Jupiter both in this sign, Yeah. And what Pisces can help us do, they can remind us of the importance of universal love and of what it is to be unified, of why it's even important to have a unified intention, to have universal love, things like that. It's the idea that if you cut yourself, the other person bleeds, right? We all bleed. If one person cuts themselves, we all bleed. All right. That's how we are connected, and we forget that. We forget, oh, we're an island, right? No, no one's an island. Okay. And so that's why the Pisces can look at the group and say, oh my gosh, this person's in pain, or this person's this. And it reminds us, because of all the water, it's so deeply compassionate and empathetic. Dalai Lama talks a lot about compassion, right? I also talk about empathy. Pisces is more than compassionate. Pisces is, they put themselves in the other person's shoes. That's why they just transform into whatever act, into whatever character, and it's just like, oh, okay, they're a new person. And so, that is, it's empathy. It's, oh my gosh. So it's a chance for all of us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to really connect. And that if we overabsorb, to, find fun, creative ways to kind of shake it off, that excess, because you can overabsorb with that. And it is just dreaming, it's visionary energy. So it is time to reconnect to our dreams. We can get very practical with the Capricorn, right? There's Venus and Mars and Capricorn, and that's great. That's awesome. We need to be practical, right? We need to be manifesting in real ways. But you can connect the energies by saying, well, what are you going to manifest? Well, how about you try to manifest your dreams, right? It's like manifest something you're really passionate about. So that's why, like, the Pisces, okay, let's reconnect. Two, let's go ahead and go for it. And it brings up issues of the ideal, right? You should always say, okay, well, what is your ideal? That's what the Pisces asks, right? It's like utopian vision, right? So of society, or of your ideal outfit, whatever you're thinking. It's like the ideal. Okay. So you want to then think, to go ahead and allow that. And then you can bring in that Capricorn and say, okay, what would be some practical steps you could take to maybe implement, right? And then you bring in the Mercury and Saturn and Aquarius, right? And it's like, then you can apply unique alternative thinking, right? And say, well, let's come up with a unique approach that's also practical. And so the beautiful Capricorn energy right now, we can just take little steps. You don't have to implement everything right away. Jupiter is in, Pisces for, 11 more months. Okay. So we can just implement step by step, be that little goat, and just take some practical steps, 38 minutes a week or 11 hours a week. Just find a routine. That's what the Mars, remember, that's the energy right now. We want to find that Capricorn routine of consistency, and find what works for you. It's not about what works with the energy. We got enough energy in Aquarius. It's not about doing what so and so wants you to do. It's what works for you. Find the practical approach that benefits you, because Saturn in Aquarius is the path for all of us right now. And then Mercury's there. Okay. So, and just communicate your vision to other people with that. And then you can go ahead and implement your Piscean. All right, Piscean vision. So those are some things to think about. Oh yeah, I say Pisces is the magician. Yeah, because it's like think of Harry Potter. It's just like, whoo, you're gonna do a little wand. You're gonna like, whoo. It's just like magic sometimes, because it's like it's like a veil. It's glamorous. It's like what's really there. You think you see it and then you don't. So it can cast a spell. All right. So we're all kind of like Harry Potter right now with the Pisces, and it's like allow for that, like, whoo, that little extra glamour and things like that. Now, yeah, like we're gonna wave your magic wand. Okay, now, all right. So we're gonna do a special Piscean oracle card spread, just to help to bring in that energy for all of us. Because, if you're listening to Through the Lens of Astrology, you are part of the group. All right. And this is the time I always talk about. We want to be unified, right? Well, this is why I do these oracle card spreads. And it's a little bit easier right now for us to be unified. okay, with this energy. Yeah. So it's like, okay. And I was having some technological problems and I was like, this is the Piscean background. I was like, okay, I wanted to like, yeah, bring it all together. So it's like, we just want to, all right, come together now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull some cards. All right. And I was going to say, I said Jupiter is benevolent. Okay. Jupiter is very benevolent. However, Jupiter can also, combine with Pluto, and then things can become, that's when we get like, and we'll talk about that because there's some things happening in society. And this happens when you look at business charts and country charts, when it's like, what's going on there? When Jupiter has an issue with Pluto in certain charts, then we get like the best, and then we get like power plays coming in, and then you kind of get like David and Goliath scenarios. Okay. So it's like, remember that Jupiter is benevolent and gives us the optimism and hope, all right, to overcome the most dangerous of Plutonian power plays, right? And Pluto doesn't have to be, but often it does. Okay. When Pluto pairs off with Jupiter. And so, if I have more time, I'll talk about that as well. But for the most part, Jupiter is very benevolent. And if you've got Jupiter transits in your chart, even oppositions, they're fantastic. Okay. So they're just things to really enjoy. They kind of like illuminate that area. It's a little bit easier to see clearly what's going on when Jupiter comes into contact with something in the chart, because it's just like shines this light. And you're like, oh, that's what's going on. Okay. And then it gives you the hope and the optimism to find a positive solution. Okay. All right. That's why Jupiter's connected to Sagittarius. Such optimistic, tolerant energy. All right. So now, all right, let's see. Okie dokie. Oh, all right. I got a lot of little post-it notes around me. All right. They're going flying. Oh my gosh. And I want to wish, though, a beautiful happy birthday to artist Tom Cummins, my collaborator. Yeah, he just had a wonderful birthday this week, and he's just one of my favorite people. So I love you. I really love you, Tom Cummins. Okay, here we go. All right. So the first card. All right, let's look at this. The first card is going to be what energy, if we embrace, can help bring into our lives more creativity, right? Like what energy, if we embrace, is just going to make it a little bit easier for us to connect to the most visionary parts of ourselves, right? Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Whoa. Okay. You know what? I just feel like sometimes I just shuffle until, I feel like it. Okay. Because we got to be intuitive right now, right? I got to take my own advice. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Oh my gosh. The second house. You know what's funny? The first card that just kind of popped out when I do some shuffling before we start was the second house. So now we've got a double message of the second house. Okay. Well, that is okay. So what is going to help us be creative and connect to our most visionary parts? Well, guess what? That is the house of our earned income, but it's the house of our values, the house of our confidence. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. If we want to be our most creative selves, well, we got to have some confidence. We have to believe in ourselves, right? That we have something to share. And it's saying the more we connect to our values, then our art will speak with authenticity, right? Because isn't that what makes art great? Yeah. The art that is authentic. And so we always have to, it's not about, well, what do you want me to do? Or what do you want to do? It's what do you believe? What speaks to you? And then, I mean, that's really beautiful. So connect to the most visionary parts. Everybody, take a look, reconnect to your values. Oh my gosh. And that's gonna, wow, that is beautiful. Okay. And that is gonna really help to connect. And I talk about how art elevates and why anything that helps us think in a poetic way, is so effective. And I was very moved, by Manuel Oliver. Okay. He's the father of Joaquin Oliver, who was killed during the Parkland shooting. And I'm sure, I mean, if you check in with the news now and then, you're going to see he's, he and his wife are artists, and Joaquin was an artist. And so it's a very creative family. And when you see how, I mean, when he talks about his son, and he just recently, he went up in a crane in protest in Washington, D.C. to protest the gun laws. And they've done several different projects to raise awareness, right, of this. And they're always very creative, and he always finds a poetic way to say, okay, he's going to elevate in a crane to say, we need to elevate this whole, right? It's like literally he's up there, but it's like it's saying, hey, we need to wake up and we need to elevate what's going on. But he's always also finding a different way to connect. But it's very much, Pisces is that totally the highest manifestation of a poetic way to express something. And just look at Manuel Oliver, and you'll find, if you go over, like, there have been many creative ways that he has found to reach people about this issue, and I've been very moved by it. But it's art, and it's why art can reach people. So creativity, I say, if you connect to your creativity, we're all creative. Okay. And the more that you can connect to it and strengthen it, it will also strengthen your power. Okay. Because creativity is power. And I always say, like, don't mess with an artist, because they will just always find a way to, because they'll not only find new ways, but when you can start to connect to poetry, to poetic expression, to symbolism, nobody can ever beat you. There's tremendous power in it. And it connects people because they feel it as well as think it. All right. So that's why let's use this. Let's do some creative activities. Let's stimulate those juices. Let's meditate. Let's reach our highest levels of, so that we can, like, have those levels. And it creates a powerful way to reach people, because it's unifying energy. Right. Okay. Now, the second card. Okay. Compassion, empathy, feeling. All right. What's going to really help us to connect to and enhance our empathy and compassion, and just help us to make sure that we connect to our feelings? I mean, I got a lot of Gemini. When you got a lot of air, sometimes it's just like, I think this, and we got to, like, okay, let's get back to the feelings. Okay. Yeah. Artist creativity always wins, because art elevates, just as astrology. Yep. Okay, here we go. Oh, man. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. Oh my gosh. Here we go. The third house. All right. You know what? I think we just got the third house in one of the last two readings, oracle readings. It was either in the new moon or it was in the air spread. Well, okay, this is an air house. Mercury is in communication. Okay, the sign of communication. So we are, how are we going to we got to talk about our feelings. How is this going to improve, deepen our compassion, empathy, and feeling? Well, this is also the house of education. So one, we got to stay educated. We got to learn about other people, what they're going through, right? We got to teach what we know. We got to learn things, and that will deepen our empathy, right? When we learn, like, if we feel a strong judgment, I always like, well, let's read up on that before, like, let's really put ourselves in that person's shoes through maybe reading to say, well, what is this person's daily routine, right? What does this person really go through? What is this person's cultural imprint? It's also, if the house of ideas and education is going to help us connect to our feelings, and it means communicate. What are you feeling? Okay. Communicate. Let other people know what you're feeling, because they may not know. We make all of these assumptions, right? Yeah. But they may not know. So you got to put into words what you're feeling. That's what happens when you connect feelings with the third house. Okay, we got two houses. Remember, each house is an area of experience in astrology. Okay. Ooh, I'm always so surprised. Okay. Now 3, oh, connected. How can we be more connected to the group? How can we be more connected and experience that universal love, right? Yeah. This is going to help us. If we embrace this next card, it's going to help us. Yeah. Connect and embrace universal love. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to talk about cultural imprint in a little bit. Yeah, I am. Okay. All right. Let's do. Okay. So we're going to feel more connected if we embrace this energy. Okay. All right. Amen. All right. Oh, Mercury. Okay. I notice a pattern here. Okay. So how are we going to feel more connected? I mean, this is the easiest message. We're going to communicate. We're going to use our words. This complements the 3rd house. Mercury is connected to the 3rd house of ideas. Mercury's in Aquarius. This is elevating. Okay, this is really elevating Mercury in Aquarius right now. Okay. The messenger, your verbal skills are at their peak. So put them to good use. Pen that novel, write that letter. Let people know what is going on. All right. And that is going to help to connect you right now. All right, to the group and to everybody, and through communication, right? Because then, I mean, that creates dialogue, and that helps create tolerance, right? So when we connect with this, it's very important with the group, because it's like, well, this is what I do, and this is my religion, and well, this is how I do things, and this is how I did things in my family, and you know what, all this communication. I saw the most amazing interview with India Ari. Okay. And I mean, her music is great, and I've heard her songs, and they're wonderful. I hadn't really heard a really in-depth interview with her. And it was really funny. It was on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah, and it was really fun. It was on Valentine's Day, and I was like really ready for some laughs. And it was like, you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm just going to give you a really long, in-depth interview on systemic racism. Enjoy. And I'm like, okay, all right. It's like I was looking for some laughs, but okay. It was amazing. Okay. And it's like, I'm going to tell you why. All right. First of all, oh my gosh, the first thing out of her mouth was she said, I'm nervous. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, just like that, because I talk about a lot about how we have to be present with our energy, right? It's not about, oh, I'm going to pretend to be this if I'm like this, right? And I try with you all, because I've been through a lot, and I go through a lot, and I say, hey, guess what? I had the craziest last 3 weeks. Like when I went through that whole, for people who have been following for a while, I had to go through a major COVID quarantine. Oh my God, it ended up being a nightmare. But anyway, like I shared that with you. It's like, be present. We don't have to pretend, be present with our energy. And then through that, we heal, right? It's not that you want to get stuck in that nervousness, but it's like by being present and saying, I'm nervous. It was like, she wasn't nervous after that. And neither was anybody watching at that point. Like the people watching were like, and if you don't say it, you're like, we would have thought, oh, you know what, she seems a little nervous, because then you can sense it. Say it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in. So that was one thing, because it's on point about what we talk about connecting with our energy. And then, they were talking about, because it's the whole systemic racism. There's been one thing after another. And this was really talking about Joe Rogan, and because he got in trouble for, using the N word. But they were talking about it. And, she said the most amazing thing. She said, and this is maybe a paraphrase, okay? You're not a bad person if you're a racist. You just grew up in this society. And I was like, this is amazing. She didn't use the term cultural imprint, but that's what she's talking about. She's talking about, you know, we have the cultural imprint of our family, right? Like, what religion are you? Things like that. And then we have the country's cultural imprint. And then we have the cultural imprint of the world, right? Of like, it doesn't really matter where you're born. You're going to deal with sexism and racism almost, But then it's like there's particular, so different levels of cultural imprints. But I just thought it was so non-judgmental and so sophisticated of saying, Wow. Okay. Because she was even saying somebody who was like her best friend for 20 years or somebody who just loved her to pieces she would have to say, you know what, this is a little racist what you just said. And we gotta, and we gotta like work on this. And then, Trevor Noah threw in, he's like, yeah, if somebody makes a racist joke, you don't just get rid of them and throw them away. It's like, or a joke, he's like, hey man, that's racist. It's like, hey, well, it's just a joke. But then you have a dialogue about it. So then people can learn and become educated and all of that. And I thought it was important because this is something that we talk a lot about. Okay. And one of the definitions, and I think Trevor Noah said this, the definition that came out of that interview was, are you consistently and consciously doing something bad? Like being racist, being sexist, or being homophobic, something like that. And I have to say, like, I thought it's something that I've done recently that I struggled with. Okay. Because I've talked about Eddie Izzard for the last couple of shows. I love Eddie Izzard. Okay. I have for decades. All right. But I didn't realize until recently the gender fluid and she. Okay. So Eddie is a she. And just last week, and it was like, and it's hard for me sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm just talking about, and I'll say him or I'll say he, but I catch myself, and it's like, and that's, I think, what he was talking about. It's like, can, it's like we have to like, really help people, right? And like help all of us. And I'm like right in there with you, right? To say, okay, to differentiate between people who are like, who will absolutely, oh, Eddie Izzard wants to be called a she. I will absolutely, he did this, you know what I mean? Who are consciously not, respecting somebody and who consistently like, I don't care, I'm not going to learn that. Or who's like, oh my God, okay, yes, let me relearn this. Let me learn, let me get better. And I do think that there is this aspect going on in society where it's just like, you know, that's it with that. It's like, let's have some sophistication. It's the most sophisticated, beautiful, inspirational uh, um, conversation anyway that I just thought, especially with everything going on, I thought it was really beautiful. It was very Piscean actually, because it's up here. It's very like, it's the highest levels of sort of nuanced philosophical discussion. I really felt transported in that pipe. So it's very, yeah, very Piscean. And it's also searching for the ideal of how can we, and it really encompassed universal love, and it was saying we're all connected, right? it really it was so Piscean actually, the more I think about it. So anyway, all right, so I've thought about that, but I loved it. So, and it helps connect. That conversation will help to unify people. And so if Mercury's here, let us all have conversations like that to help bring us together. That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Oh, boundaries. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we got like 3 cards. We're going to do 3 more cards. We got a couple more cards. Pisces struggle with boundaries. And so when a lot of energies in Pisces, or if you have a strong Neptune on your ascendant or on your sun or anything, yeah, you can struggle with boundaries. You don't really have any. So, what can we do if we embrace this? Will strengthen our own boundaries. Will help us also respect the boundaries of others. What can we do? Okay, let's pick a card. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah. Mm. All right. You know what? I just got to do it one more time. We got to, oh my gosh. Sometimes the cards go, sometimes they go flying. Okay. Oh, man. Oh. Okay. 12th house. Oh my gosh. You know what's funny? This is the house connected. I was looking for this card before I started, and I was like, well, couldn't find it. Well, it wanted me to find it. That's so funny. I went through a whole deck trying to find this card. And I was like, well, okay, because I wanted to show you. This is the house that Pisces loves, the 12th house. All right. This is beautiful. So this really, how can we protect our boundaries? This is the house of secrets. It is. It's the house of hidden knowledge. Now, literally like, like secrets, hidden knowledge, but also like hidden knowledge of, oh, you got to meditate to figure something out, right? It's like not just totally apparent. You got to like kind of like, om and stuff like that. Om Shanti Om. Yeah. So, all right. Well, to protect boundaries and respect boundaries, guess what? People are allowed to have secrets. That's what this means. If honoring 12th house, yeah, it's like, don't be so nosy. It's like, allow people to have their private lives. That's the 12th house. And to protect boundaries is also, connect to your most spiritual creative parts, right? And give yourself time for contemplation. This is the house of reflection. So you can be alone a little bit. You can go meditate. You can do a little extra meditation, do a walk in the woods. And that will, you see, anything that recharges you and rejuvenates you strengthens your boundaries. When we get worn down, it's like we get a little more, oh, you can like poke through, right? And it's like when you're totally refreshed, it's like you have not armor, but it's like things, it's like water off a duck's back, right? You're not so permeable, right? So this is recharge, meditate, create, right? And also honor people's privacy with 12th house. Well, it's perfect. And I was looking for that card. That's so funny. I went through a whole deck trying to find that card. All right, it found us. Okie dokie. Now, oh, okay. Now we want to help us. Okay, we want to, what energy, if we can embrace, will help us to embrace transparency, okay? Because Pisces is that veil. And the problem, it's like Pisces is just, we just become other people. So we lose ourself, and then some, or there's this veil and you see what you want to see. Sometimes we have to work a little bit harder to say, this is who I am. Do you get it? Did you hear me? Do you like my answer? I brought that up last time. It's like when Nicole Kidman in it plays Lucille Ball, and she told Ricardo, played by Javier Bardem, amazing, that she wanted a home, and then it's like he didn't give her a home, and she said, I told you what I wanted, and you liked my answer, So Pisces is like, make sure people hear you. And then you have to remind them, I told you and you liked my answer. So what's the problem? That's the kind of effort you have to use with too much Pisces. Okay. All right. So what's going to help us embrace transparency? Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's embrace transparency. Okay. I got a lot of cards here. Just a little extra shuffling. Okay. Amen. Let's try this. Okay, embrace transparency. Libra energy. Okay. Libra energy. Oh my God. Okay, well, hello, Kamala Harris. Yes. Okay. Libra energy. All right. So if we're going to embrace transparency, we need to incorporate Libra qualities. It's rational thinking, people. Yeah. Think lawyers. It's like facts. Okay. What are the facts? What's the data? All right. And it's rational. It's the scales, right? It's an animate object. It's the only zodiac sign that's not an animal. So if we want to embrace transparency and make sure that we know what's going on, because Pisces is like, woo, woo, woo. What are the facts? Yeah, show me the data. Let's see what's really going on. And so we can weigh things. And Libra is also, it's, oh, this is what you think, and this is what the other person. Okay, and then we're going to find a synthesis, right? It's the social air, and it's air. So again, Mercury and Mercury in third house, very complementary, because it's all about communication and air, and it's also diplomacy. So let's diplomatically assert ourselves. But also, when it's reversed, it means there's some abulia. There is some indecisiveness going on. There's like flip-flopping sides, okay? And so if we want to embrace transparency, we have to say, no, I really like this more than that, okay? I don't like everything equally, okay? So when Libra is reversed, we have to work a little bit harder to the card, I'm saying, when the card is reversed, to say, no, this is, again, that's transparent. That's saying, this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. Okay. And then you can say, oh, well, what if we did this, this, this? And then you take that in and you can say, oh, well, okay, then in that case, then maybe I could take this and a little bit of that, and then we'll put a little icing on that, and then I'll put it down. It's like things like that. Okay. But that's what it is. Boy, I'll tell you, man, these messages are for me as much as they are for you and everyone in the group. So I'm amazed. Okay. I'm definitely going to be embracing these. Okay. Wow. Okay. Now, all right. Oh, yeah. What energy, if we embrace, can help bring the group together? Yeah, we want to, what's going to help to unify the group, man? Yeah, it's always so, so important. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was one other thing I didn't. Yeah, I mentioned the cultural imprint that, yeah, India RE made me think about. But, it's like Aquarius helps us to question this. And she said at the end of that interview that one of the big things that she decided, she read some book about an integrity cleanse. I can't remember the book that she read, but maybe if you YouTube integrity cleanse. But she said she took an integrity cleanse and then she decided to live in truth. And I'm like, I am down with that, man. That's like Scorpio. That is like transformation. That's what this show's all about. It's like live in truth. Just live in truth. So with all this Mercury communication, yeah, we can live in truth. So I think that's just beautiful. And then, yeah, you know what? And that's when, oh, yeah. And then Trevor Noah said the most amazing thing. He said, it's difficult to discuss. How do we discuss difficult truths? And that one of the problems that it's hard to kind of fix these things when something like the Joe Rogan thing happens. He said, it's hard to have, I mean, this is paraphrasing, it's hard to have a truthful discussion because the consequences are so severe. And he's right. He's right. And so that's what this show's all about. We got to live in truth. I'm as truthful as I can be. I mean, look, we're allowed secrets and privacy, okay? But you're truthful in that discussing difficult truths. It's like, and we have to allow for the nuance of what is going on and not just throw people, away like that, right? And then he was even talking about what happens in like, yeah, people in prison and they get out and it's like there has to be a way back in always, right? Yeah. So I thought that was very moving. So, and it's so Pisces, man. It's like, because we're connected. If one person is suffering, we're all suffering. There must be a way back in. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's find, okay, okay, so what's going to help if we all embrace this energy? It's going to help to unify the group. That's what we're looking for. Okay, dokie. Okay. Okay. All right. Amen. Okay, what is going to help to, oh yeah, bring the group together. Oh my gosh, it's a trine. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay, this is an aspect card. Okay, so what is going to help to bring the group together? You know what? I think we even got the trine a little bit ago. Okay, this trine, you know what a trine is? It is saying that, a gift is yours for the taking. Okay, what a trine is Venus energy. It connects elements and modalities that complement each other. Okay, so Pisces complements and goes with Scorpio and Cancer. All right, they form trines. That's a water trine. All right, so if what's going to help bring us together is finding ways to harmoniously join, but that means a Venusian approach. So that comes back to a trine complements Libra energy. We need the Librans to come in, right? And use their assertive diplomacy, right? So you're not aggressive, you're diplomatic, but you are assertive and you honor each person's opinion. Okay. And you work to harmoniously bring people together. And that also shows that there are some gifts that maybe we're missing. This is the other thing with the trine, what people don't realize. Okay, this is the other thing. If you want to bring a group together, we're missing some opportunities. Okay, there can be massive conflict. Okay, and not everybody's going to be harmonious. All right, but by taking this approach, this is what people have to understand. Take this approach and you will find uh, people who are able to work with you that you didn't realize. Because a trine is so, when we have them, sometimes we don't take advantage of them. Okay, so this is a very important point. When you pull this card as an inspirational message, or if you have a trine in your chart, it can feel good and you don't take advantage of it. All right. So that means there could be somebody that you think, oh, yeah, I get along with that person. So I'm going to maybe let's work on this person over here that's causing a big problem. But by solidifying your relationship with the trine person that maybe just feels so easy, you don't have to work on it, solidify that. And then all of a sudden you have, oh, you know what? I didn't realize all these people, you've just strengthened all of this energy. Okay. And then that becomes a force. And it's a massive, NATO, it's a massive assertive diplomacy force that then together can then go after the more difficult parts. So that's the hidden message in the trine, that there are opportunities with probably people in the group or situations that you're not taking advantage of because, oh, that feels so good and I have to work on that one. But then it's like, why don't you really make something out of that? Right? It's like, that's that point. Is that clear? I hope that's clear. Okay, now, all right, because yeah, sometimes that's a little hard for people to understand. Okay, now, okay, here we go. Oh, solidarity. Oh, let's do this. This is going to be, it's similar, but I want some nuance. So we're doing a card because that was, how can we help to unify the group? This is going to be, what are some actions we can take to reveal solidarity? Because I'll tell you, I'm sure everybody saw the Super Bowl. All right. And it was like great. It was like, Dr. Dre and I'm going to talk about Eminem, but Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige, just like a lot of people, were wonderful. But I was so moved when Eminem took a knee. Okay, and obviously, it references Colin Kaepernick, right? And there's the racism issue in the NFL that's been brought up recently. I was so moved because it was a gesture of solidarity, right? And it was really important because it's a gesture, was also so Piscean to bring people together. And it's a very Libra gesture, actually, because it's about justice. We got the Libra card, okay? That is a Libran action that he took of justice, of anytime there's injustice, Libras will do things to highlight injustice and bring people together. And if I'm remembering correctly, I feel that Eminem is Libra with maybe an Aquarian moon, I feel. And Aquarius is all about reform, So you combine Libra with Aquarius. Oh my God. You get people who fight for justice and will use unique alternative approaches. And they are not afraid to do what is right. I mean, he even has a song, I'm Not Afraid, but I mean, he's not afraid. And so there is profound, rebelliousness in reform and doing all of that. So taking a knee in solidarity, I thought, that inspired me. Let's pull a card for how can any of us, right? If we feel in solidarity with people in, look at your groups in this group, whatever, what is something energy that we can embrace that will help us to show our solidarity? Yeah, if we embrace this energy. And I think it's important when people, and I'm bringing that up also because it's like, it's important to do things. It's important to do things that that you are connecting to, not your group, right? That's when it's important. It's like men need to speak up and be feminists, right? It's like white women need to help minority women. It's like we need to not be afraid to take these public actions, to do actions and not think, well, that's not my group. Do I have a right? It's like, no, it's even more important to help people who are different from you, right? So that's why I bring that up, because also there was Johnny Knoxville, I saw an interview, and
And I saw him in some Men in Black, what the Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones stuff. And I mean, he was great. He was funny. I've never followed all the Jackass movies. I just recently saw a few clips, but I saw him in an interview and he was talking and he was like, he was so upset about the George Floyd thing. He was talking about it, supporting, talking about how what a horrible thing this is and showing his support. And I just thought, and he lost like 100,000 followers on one of his social media things. And I just thought, but this is what we have to do. Like, we have to do things even when it's not our group, because it is our group. You see, it's the Pisces says we're all connected. So it's all of our group. And then the Aquarian energy with Saturn Aquarius is like, no, but we are lots of little groups. So the little group, you're part of a very specific group that you're going to stand out. But then you're also going to do something that then unifies the whole group. Okay. And I just thought they're amazing examples of surprising, like you wouldn't think, like, okay, we're going to go there they're going to unify the group. But they took these actions that are really unifying in big ways, I think. And that just inspired, like, it doesn't have to be your tiny group, right? We got it. And that's what the Pisces energy is there for. Yeah. So I was amazed at that. Yeah. So, okay. Now, all right. So, oh, yeah. So the solidarity, that's what led to all this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Johnny Knoxville. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right. There we go. Solidarity. Amen. Okay. Oh my gosh. We got the Pisces card. Okay, this is amazing. All right. Well, we got the Pisces card. So, what is an action that we can take? All right, to unify the group. Well, and to show, to be in solidarity. Okay, let's embrace the Piscean idea that we really are connected. I mean, when you get that connection with solidarity, it means that no matter what little group you're part of, you're also part of a bigger group, and that actions you take can benefit your group and then the bigger group, right? Because then we have the world, right? We're all world citizens, and then we're country citizens, and then we're like family citizens, right? So I think that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yep, there it is. And this is like the big picture of it. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. So we're going to do things to show our solidarity. And you can just be in your, whenever you do that, do what you can, because it makes people feel better. Okay. All right. Now we want to help. I always bring in, do we have time? Yes, we have time. Okay. So I always bring in the president and vice president, because I say, hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you voted for. Okay. The people who run the country and the people who are in these positions, they have the power to raise the consciousness of the planet. Right. And so we want to do everything we can to help them, right? Stay in balance and do what they can do and put beautiful healing energy out there. So I always pick a card to say, okay, what energy is going to help? That if we take this energy, if we embrace this card, we can help to unite, and just further unite, put good energy out for the country, right? Specifically for the president and vice president. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now I do support them, but I'm just saying, I've always prayed for the president. You always do that, but these are, yeah, I voted for these people. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Amen. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. We just got the Pisces card again. This is crazy. Okay. We have got, all right. So the Pisces, yeah. Okay. You know what? Guess what? Pisces season is here. This is really saying we need to embrace Pisces. And that also means, yeah, hello Pisces, you got to really step up now. Okay. And if you're a little exhausted, if you've like a little waterlogged because you've overabsorbed, well, you got to just do a little more meditation, a little more exercise, do some flotation therapy. um, you know you got to do what you got to do. You got to be creative, do some fun activities, do some dancing, play some music, do what you can. We need you. We really need you now. All right. We just got two Pisces cards during this. Okay. And that also means we need to, when we think of the present, because we're so divided and we're so polarized. If Pisces energy is what we need to give to the president and vice president, and it's going to heal, that really means we have to remember. All right. We have to develop our empathy. We have to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. All right. And even it doesn't mean we're going to agree, but we have to try harder to see the other person's opinion, what's going on, because we also got the Libra in general for the Pisces reading, but also the unification. If one person is in pain, we are all in pain. Okay. We're all hurting. So, we have to contribute, we have to work to unify. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's just amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now let me just, all right. So let's just look over. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm always amazed. I am always amazed by some of these messages. Okay. You know what? We can just pick one. Let's pick one more card. All right. Let's pick one more card. All right. This is amazing. All right. And we need the Libras, and we still need the Virgos and Gemini. And, I forgot Dolly Parton has a stellium in Virgo. I'm into, yeah, so I love her. So Virgos got elevated. They're still elevated for 2 more weeks. Oh my God. And the Virgo card the Virgo card just popped out. So we're going to take that. Okay. And Virgo was elevated. So we still have that. We need the Virgos. They understand the mechanics. They help to understand. So Pisces and Virgo, that's yin yang energy right now. That's also saying yin yang energy is how we're going to help heal the country. Well, that makes perfect sense. It's like in everything there is the other. That's also what we have to remember, that although we appear to be so different, there's a little bit of you and me, a little bit of me and you. Okay. And so the Virgos, guess what? Yeah, you're still really needed right now. And the Geminis are needed from the air spread. Well, all the air signs are needed. So yeah, we've got the Aquarius, we've got the Gemini, and the Libra was even picked. So um, yeah, I mean, think of Stevie Nicks and Boris Johnson. I mean, yeah, very different people. Boris Johnson has a stellium in Gemini, but just watch how he's like so adaptable. He's really going through a little something right now, and he can get out of anything because the verbal, and it's like the adaptability. You see how he just turns an argument where you just think he's never going to get out of this, and he just does some verbal gymnastics. He's like, well, okay, he's not, that's a lot of Gemini. So anyway, think about connect if you have these energies in your chart. Yeah, share your talents, we really need them. And I think, yeah, and for the rest of us, all right, embrace these messages, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to really connect and be present. This is all about being present with your energy. This is why I do the show, and why I say this is what's going on with all the energy. Okay. And Capricorn is right there, so we don't fly away, right? We don't sink, we don't fly away, we stay afloat because Capricorn keeps things level. All right. They're okay, folks. All right. We're going to you may be flying up here. You may be like, the Capricorns are like, we're going to level, and we're going to keep moving forward in a methodical, meticulous way. All right. So we still have the beautiful energy in Capricorn as well. So yeah, we need you. All right. And the Aquarians, of course, Mercury and Aquarius. So, we got to contribute and be applying. Yeah. So I think we're all going to work together with this. I'm just looking over to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, you know what? Probably next week I'm going to talk a little bit about. I saw a wonderful interview with Lisa Desjardins, and she interviewed Gretchen Carlson, and talking about ending forced arbitration for sexual assault victims. And I do want to talk about that. There's not time but I'm going to go into the astrology of that and what that is all about. Okay. I think these messages are beautiful. Let's use our communication. Let's work, to do what we can to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and spread the universal love. And Libra, let's bring in some rational rational data along with beautiful intuition. It's the yin and the yang we're going for, right? Yeah, we want to have both. We want to have both and enjoy the poetic expression. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to be putting these, I'm going to take a picture of these cards. I'm going to put them on. You can check out my Instagram, my Facebook. You can check out my YouTube. And if you do enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. It helps to spread the word. And you can see my, oh yeah, my podcast, my Astro Oracle podcast as well. That is, yeah, Astro Oracle through the lens of astrology. So, yeah, that's our show. Until next time, enjoy and embrace transformation.